can we have like a trans like colored Venator ship, and then down with cis, and then all the clones that like work on that ship
are all
specifically.
The that's why we don't see
Yeah,
them.
they're all the trans clones with the trans colored armor.
Start your sublight engines. It's time for RuPaul's Pod Race, a queer Star Wars podcast. Welcome back to another week of chaos, slightly delayed. We hope you enjoyed our bonus episode, and if you haven't read the High Republic books and comics and listened to our new episode yet, you should. I'm Noah, my pronouns are he, him, my social media pretty much everywhere is the Jewish Jedi, and my gender this week is hi. Omega just drove me here.
I imagine that being like the scene from Parks and Rec where he's like, she drove me here. Call Omega Olivia Rodrigo because she got her driver's license.
Oh my god.
I'm done.
Get her out of here. Get Olivia out of here.
My name is Ollie. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on social media pretty much anywhere at Ollie Fresh, and that's fresh with a PH. And my gender this week is, in the words of Gregor, plebe, derogatory.
When he said that, I went insane. I literally went fucking insane. Also, I don't know, the fucking pitch of him being like, you plebe, like he has this weird crack to his voice, and I was like, please stop, please leave me alone.
He's epic.
Is this the first instance of somebody saying like plebe in Star Wars? Like it kind of set me.
Did this just canonize the Roman Empire in Star Wars?
Hey, I would just like to say that Ollie, the time has finally come. We had the same gender this week. So with that, I guess my name is Mel. I use they them pronouns. You can find me on TikTok at Grunkle Rex, and my gender is stolen. Like Hunter, I guess. There's no joke there. Goodbye.
Oh my god.
We knew it was coming. I cannot believe that it ended up being Gregor related.
I'm Jess. You can find me on most social media at Kawaii Jessio, and my pronouns are they them. And this week my gender is Lama Su's clone Alpaca Su.
What?
Wait, like an actual like alpaca?
Like llama versus
yeah,
alpaca.
because llama and
I
alpaca.
can't fucking stand it here. I am upset, shocked, betrayed, entering my Sith era over it. Last time we recorded, they were like, oh, what would make you turn to the dark side? Fucking this. This is what turns me to the dark side. Alpaca Su turns me to the fucking dark side.
I will say, I feel like that actually turned me to the light side. That was a very good joke, Jess.
Lama Su maybe passing away made me go like, well, they just cloned him, and his clone will be Alpaca Su.
Hi, my name is Klaudia. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on social media at Klaudia says with a K, K-A-L-U-D-I-A says. My gender of the week is Techio Drift. That man, he has a need for speed, and it's become a thing now where he does some maneuvers.
Tech entering his dom from Fast and the Furious era.
Tech entering his Dom era?
No,
I don't want to see that.
Not like
I don't want to see that at all.
Ollie was saying something that made a lot of sense, as in like, are you talking about like the meme like? When you're like
so here's the thing. Dom drives very fast cars, which I know from all of the Fast and the Furious movies I've seen, but he also apparently cares a lot about family. So what I think is actually, I think Tech's like the opposite, because Hunter was like, leave, and he was like, okay.
No, actually he wasn't though.
I know.
He didn't actually.
We'll talk about it. Here's the thing. I hate to start from the end, but Tech did look over at Echo to be like, should we leave? Like
he hesitated on the thing. He was like, what? Like he hesitated. I saw like a gif of it. Like he looked at Echo and he also like hesitated on the thing and he was like, I guess, before he went like,
well, yeah, because the next person in charge is Echo. He's the highest ranking of that group of people, so Tech looking over to him to being like, okay, last chance, bestie, are we going or not?
Are you gonna override like Hunter's orders and say no, we're staying, or what's going on? I do think like Echo would like think about it more practically, like, yeah, if we stay any longer we are gonna get killed, so let's go get reinforcements, let's go get our buddy Rex. That's what I think Echo would do.
this is also the exact same situation that I have been thinking about this whole week, is where I'm like, they're going to get into a tough spot and be like, we cannot help because we do have a child with us. And we do need to get the child to safety before we can worry about the other adults.
I will say also, not to start from the end, but the scene in this episode that sent me the fucking hardest is when they're like, when Gregor was like, well, there's no way we can survive a fall off of this here cliff. And then Hunter proceeds to fall off of that fucking exact same cliff.
By
and hit
definition,
every branch on the way down.
By
Built
definition,
different.
he is built different. Yes,
Period.
he's built different. Well,
Should have broken every rib in his
That's-
fucking body.
That's his BadBatch mutation. Very hard
Okay.
bones.
No, but let's talk
Just like
about
me.
it.
Oh my god.
Stop.
Hunter is immune to bone hurt juice.
I was gonna say, somebody on Tumblr pointed out that, like, all these clones, like, Echo got blown up, Gregor got blown up, Hunter falls down, all this stuff, like, all these different clones are simply built different. And then Fives, like, gets shot, and it's like, oh, he passed away, like...
I'm so sorry, Fives.
Does that not also happen to Gregor in Rebels? Like, he's like, I'm built different until he's not.
I would just like to say that the literal second that he stepped on screen, I was like, damn, that's the ugliest fucking outfit I've ever seen a Star Wars character in my fucking life.
It's because he didn't have like his like pauldron parts to his armor.
Yeah,
It was just like
Well,
the
and it was like
Oh,
he
yeah.
had
Tank top
like
armor.
he had like spaghetti straps and then the world's like most full coverage tank top, and I was like, damn, Gregor, your tits.
Gregor is trying to be modest. I know the end was a lot, but we could go kind of bring it back to the beginning. The one thing that I was not expecting from this episode that we saw, Rex was like, hey guys, that was so exciting. I was like, oh my god, Rex is back. And then I was like, oh no, Rex is back and I know something's about to go down.
Rex in his Fulcrum era, I was like, there he is, there it is, it's happening, like...
Yeah.
Also, people were theorizing he's on Onderon, and I was like, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I was curious to hear what like other people thought he was up to that was so pressing that he could not go save Gregor himself.
He's saving Wolf.
Well, so here's the thing. There have been so many different theories about what he's been doing, and I personally don't think that he was saving Wolf or Cody, because I know a lot of people have talked about that being potential, and I love that. But I also feel like if that's what he was doing, it just seems like it would be a really odd coincidence if Wolf or Cody was getting out and then Gregor was getting out at the exact same time. If Wolf had been like, hey, you need to go save Gregor, he's gonna escape at the same time or something. Like, it just seems so convenient. Like, I do think maybe he's working with like another rebellion like Onderon, and he's just chilling with Saw, like helping civilians, and maybe like they were having a moment and they were having date night. He was like, we just put on old. I can't leave now.
Not old!
Sorry to be the contrarian, where I don't think Rex is on Onderon. I don't think he's hanging out with Saw. I'm sorry to all you Rex Saw shippers
The
out
Rex
there.
anti among us.
Like, I don't know how like really involved Rex is with the rebellion, especially since like in Rebels when we do see old Rex, he didn't seem like he really ever got involved with the rebellion until that moment when he's an old man with his old besties Gregor and Wolf. So I don't know what he was doing, but I don't think he's with Onderon. I don't think we're ever going back to Onderon. I'm sorry, besties. I don't think we're seeing Saw Gerrera ever again.
But I will say, I do think he's involved in the rebellion because I've been watching a lot of Rebels because various friends are watching it, so I've been rewatching like seasons 1 and 2 like a bunch, and it's like Rex has all this information and like knows all these people all around just like randomly. He could just be like bopping around trying to find information, like trying to make connections, like trying to figure things out, making networking, whatever he's doing, or like it could be anything like that. And I do think like, because when we see him again in Rebels, he's very much like, I'm just about protecting my brothers or something. Like, I feel like there's got to be something that happens where he's like, clearly I just need to protect my brothers and fuck all of y'all, the Republic is dead, or of some kind of thing. But I do think he is working. There is no rebellion, but he's gathering intelligence of some kind.
Yeah, I would also say that maybe that this is the type of moment where like Cody could be him and Cody could be working together, not necessarily to like do rebellion things in the most like, you know, actually part of the rebellion type moment, but because in this episode we see that scene where Tech is like, the clone code didn't work, but then later in Rebels, which this could have just been a small continuity error that they just didn't remember, where Rex is like, yeah, Cody and I made all these codes to like get into the Empire. That could just be that they two, not as clones, as clone troopers working for the Republic doing it, but Cody and Rex, besties at large, hackers, to like get that information into the Republic, or the Empire for later. And the idea of Cody, like, of something happening to Cody in this time period, and that is what pushes Rex to like be like, actually, I'm gonna enter my Dominic Toretto era. Family is the most important thing. Peace out.
Mr. Robot Cody.
I can't. I will say this. We know from episode 7 that Rex is working with Republic allies in some capacity, because he did say that that's what he'd been doing, was fighting for the Republic. So we know that he's involved in some degree of proto-rebellion. And like Klaudia was saying, maybe that is just an intel thing, but it's also possibly like small rebel cells. I love Rexaw very dearly, but the likelihood of him being on Onderon specifically is really low. Personally, I can think of like maybe 2 scenarios where that works out. But I do like Mel's idea that he's just like out with Cody somewhere getting shit done. That said, I would hope that they would show us that and not just sort of like hint that he was there. So I'm just saying, if the next episode is about Cody, I will not complain.
I am also going to bring back Bail Organa as well, because when we see Bail Organa in the beginnings of Rebels, like, Bail Organa is doing the same thing where he's gathering information on all of the Rebel cells to see how to connect them all together. And I feel like, and obviously that's far later, but I feel like if they're at this level of intelligence gathering stage or figuring out what the playing field is, and Rex is working with Bail Organa, like that would make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that there's a lot of possibilities right now, and not to be the person who's like, we won't know until it happens. But truly, I'm going through, I think that this is a terminal Star Wars fan. This is a symptom of being a terminal Star Wars fan, is you come up with all of these theories and all of these ideas, so you are inevitably disappointed by whatever happens. Which is very funny, but also like, I think very true. And I think that's true for a lot of like big fan bases. Not to say that there aren't ever like legitimate criticisms of when franchise media has like lazy writing or whatever, but I do feel like I'm trying not to speculate quite as much, because I don't want to be let down when it's inevitably like Rex is like, yeah, I was in a fist fight at a bar, I was just hanging out. Like, if that is to happen, I will lose my marble.
To be fair, we also have been right a bunch of times.
I think I actually have figured out what Rex was doing this entire time. Because we didn't see his head, he was actually bleaching his hair, and so he couldn't leave the house.
Get the fuck out.
Rex,
I love the idea that Gregor was like, yeah, I'm in like mortal peril, and Rex is fully like in the shower, and he's like, I'm washing out my first go round of this right now, so I'm actually really busy.
Shower. He's not in the shower. He's in the gas station bathroom.
Not Rex in his Gone Girl era.
Exactly.
Actually, here's the thing.
Amy Dunn as Rex.
Here's the
Wait, can Rex do the cool girl monologue in a small painted Subaru?
Oh my god.
Okay, here's the concept. Rex is not currently bleaching his hair. He just did it and he forgot to get toner, so it's like yellow, and he's like, I can't let Gregor see me like this. Hey Hunter, can you please take the boys to go get Gregor, because he's gonna laugh at me.
Can we talk about Hunter again for a moment?
Always.
When Rex is like, hey, can you go help my boy, thanks? And Hunter being like, I don't know about that, besties. But finally Echo getting some good Echo content here, with Echo being like, no, we're gonna help Echo? Rex's friend, because I trust Rex and Rex is my friend and I want to help Rex, and what the fuck's wrong with you, Hunter?
I was actually really thrilled, because the last few episodes, my main complaint has been, do the writers realize that the rest of the Bad Batch besides Hunter and Omega like exist and are characters? And I think they made a really smart decision in literally being like, Wrecker and Omega stay inside. They put them in a cardboard box for this episode, and they sent the other. I wish that they had done Hunter and Omega stay inside, so we would have got like some more Wrecker content, because we get so much Hunter and like, I don't care about this man and his mullet, like whatever. But I loved seeing Echo like have agency and stand up for himself, and also be like, I am a person with feelings and a backstory that would deeply inform why I'm very big on rescuing my brothers from situations like this. And I also liked that he wasn't like, we have to go rescue Gregor because like this is the better thing to do for like the rebellion or for the galaxy. He genuinely was like, this is just the right thing for us to do as a group of clones, and this is something for my friend who I trust, and it's more important than money. And it was like, oh my god, Echo, where have you been the whole show? I loved that. Like, come back.
I did like their whole conversation of like showing them actually debating about that, with Hunter being like no, and Tech agreeing with Hunter, because being like, yeah, we need to do this job because, you know, money and food. And I did think the person who was the most relatable in that whole scene was Wrecker, because Wrecker's like, oh, you know, Echo has a point. Oh, wait, no, Tech has a point. And then Omega's
The way that I
just
actually like genuinely laughed at that scene. And
yeah, I
have
was like,
not laughed
wow.
at that show in a hot minute, but I was like, wait, why is this like funny to me?
Yeah, but I did feel very like, wow, I do actually relate to Wrecker, because I'm also like that, where just like someone says something, I'm just like, they have a point, and another person has a counterpoint. I'm just like, they also have a point. Damn.
I think something else that I really liked about Echo's little moment. First of all, you know, I have been advocating for, if anything happens to Hunter, Echo takes over and leads, because no one else is equipped to do it. But I find myself, I've complained about Hunter's characterization a little bit and saying like, come on, dude, like, let's get involved. But I've been thinking about it a lot. And I think one of my problems with the Bad Batch is just that I wish they would have a couple more scenes of them talking stuff out. Because I realized when Echo was like, hey, this is what you guys did for me, which hit me deep in the heart, where he said, if you guys hadn't come done this for me on Skako Minor, I would still be in there. And then they were like, oh, well, we do like you. Which would be very funny, because in this case, if Hunter dies, then Gregor replaces him in the batch. But the other thing I was thinking is, Hunter is acting in the interest of his squad, and is acting in the interest of the fact that they do have a child with them. Because I'm like, if I were to be in charge of a child, I would put the safety of the child paramount to literally anything else. I just wish that they would talk about it. Like, I just wish that if Echo was like, hey, dude, we kind of got to do this, and Hunter was like, but we have a kid on the ship, we can't risk our lives doing this. And then Echo to be like, well, you know, you did that for me. Like, I just think that would be nice. And it's the same thing with the like, let's not forget about Crosshair, because I know they are thinking about him, but I would just like to see them every once in a while be like, dang, I miss Crosshair, you know, or like say why they hadn't thought about him. Yeah. But I don't know. I thought that the scene where Echo was like, that's what you did for me, that was very powerful.
See, it's one of those things where it would be fine if they were showing and not telling us that information, but because they are not showing us that kind of like that introspection of like, oh shit, fucking sucks, like especially like regarding Crosshair, I think like you said, it's just vital that they're having those conversations, and I completely agree that I wish, I I understand this is a children's television show, so there does have to be action to keep the attention spans, you know, present. But also it is just nice to have people talking and having these adult conversations about these big things, as a way to understand them.
I think also on that note of like showing not telling, I feel like pretty consistently the way that they show us that the Bad Batch is like worried for Omega's safety, at least to me, they seem kind of like irked when they have to protect her from things. Like they'll be like, don't run over there, that's a really bad idea, but like not because we care about you and you're a child, but because like, can someone get this kid a leash? Like, if they were going to show us that like in the Mandalorian, they show us that Din cares about Grogu based, like he literally jumps into the fucking ocean to save that kid. Like, then that's never felt as an annoyance thing. But sometimes I'm like, do you guys actually like her? Like, I know Wrecker does, but I'm like, how does Echo feel about Omega? We never know.
I would actually say Tech cares about Omega. Like, there were several moments.
I think, yeah, like there's situations where you see they do all care about Omega. So Klaudia, yeah, I agree.
I really like Tech's little moment where like Omega's like having one of those moments driving and Tech was like, it's okay, I've got it, it's okay. Like I was like, wow, very relatable.
I like the moment in the beginning of the episode too, before they get the call from Rex, and you see, you know, Hunter doing his little fun knife twirl, and Omega, who's trying to fix Gonki, just sees him and imitates him, and it did look like Hunter, like, you know, sees her doing that, is just like proud dad, big brother moment, where he's just like, nice kid, keep working on that, you'll get it soon.
Well, I think it's the difference between when I said like the like brothers dynamic versus the like you are my dad dynamic is like the brother dynamic is like Obi-Wan and Anakin and Ahsoka. And they're more like that rather than like Kanan and Ezra or Din and Grogu or that kind of thing. Again, Dave, Jennifer, we only know how to write one or two stories. Now two stories.
The two stories are Master and Apprentice, but they are clones instead of Jedi. But yeah, I want to say another thing that we did see that I think was so powerful is Wrecker and Omega dealing with a crisis while not being there. And Wrecker being like, yeah, I'm just kind of preparing, and Omega being like, I am having a panic attack. And we got to see a Lula cameo, which been wondering she was.
She was having one of those moments. She's like, she was the pacing. Like, I was like, this kid has an anxiety disorder. Like, look what you've done. You've taken a perfectly good child and given it anxiety.
I feel like even if you didn't have an anxiety disorder in that moment, you would probably still be quite upset.
Yeah,
if someone was like, hey, your dad's about to die, I'd probably also be like, that's no good.
Yeah, that moment with Wrecker and Omega, how the second Hunter like contacts them, just like, oh yeah, you know, we gotta go in. Like, it's a bit more complicated than we thought it was gonna be, and Omega being like, okay, we're coming as like backup, hold on. And he's just like, no, you and Wrecker still like stay in the fucking ship. We'll like contact you when we get out because we're gonna lose signal. But yeah, like just stay put. We need you as like backup. And Omega's still freaking out, like, I just want to help my brothers, my family. And Wrecker's just like, yeah, chill out, kid. Don't worry.
The real Dom Toretto was the Bad Batch we made along the way.
Get the fuck out.
Omega being the Dom Toretto of the Bad Batch.
Actually, should, honestly.
Yeah, like I said.
Omega played by Vin Diesel?
No!
Shut up. No.
I can't wait.
Fantastic is later.
Fantastic is later. I can't believe you've already guessed one.
Who's the Rock?
Me.
We'll talk about
Wrecker.
that later. We'll actually talk about that later in Fantastic. Anyways.
So there was a lot happening in this episode. I will also say I felt like a big dummy and I should be gatekept because they said Gregor's CC number and I did recognize it, but I didn't remember who it was. And I was like, it's gotta be somebody. But I didn't until they did it. And actually it was my partner who was like, well, it's gotta be like Gregor or Wolf. And I was like, oh, well, it's not Wolf because he doesn't have a scar. So it's gotta be Gregor. But can we talk about, like, Gregor's chip? Like, again, is he simply built different because his chip just doesn't work? Or
I do believe that he's chipped. And the reason I think that is that there are literally 0 scenarios in which he would have gotten de-chipped and still been at that facility.
Also, in Rebels, they did say they removed his chip. Like, he does have a scar from chip removal surgery.
Yeah, he said they all got the surgery, and he shows his thing. I did see people on TikTok theorizing, like, you know, when he almost got blown the fuck up, much like with Echo, like, it did fuck with his chip. But yeah, in Rebels, it does say that they did get, like, chip removal surgery, so maybe he's about to get the little boop boop, like, when he gets with Rex. I don't know, but, like, are they just one step away from playing Jedi Taboo and then we're back at square zero? Like,
first of all, I've never heard anyone say square zero in my entire life, so that's a new one for me. Second of all, I think that they're not like playing fast and loose with it. My first theory, and this is the less fun version, is that Star Wars writers are just fucking inconsistent and cannot make up a stable continuity to save their lives.
So
But
true.
my other theory is just that like Ollie's been saying for like months now, I guess, I just forgot that it was them. The chips are sort of a proximity bomb. And I don't think that as long as they're around other clones, like we know from Hauser that they don't actually make them necessarily more obedient unless they get like supercharged, like with what's his name, Crosshair. Like I don't.
Chris.
So unless it's like supercharged, it's not going to make them like Empire class obedient. They're just like sort of there.
That's exactly the point that I was going to make. I think we saw from Hauser last week that even the clones who have chips still have some sense of identity, and it really is like the proximity to Jedi that causes them to be, you know, Order 66-esque. Because Order 66 is not be compliant with the Empire, Order 66 is kill the Jedi and Jedi sympathizers. And I think we saw that with Wrecker when his chip went off. It really only affected him when they were saying like, here's all the Jedi stuff that happened. But I really do think that we are seeing this is the reason why we are replacing the clones. This is the reason why we are moving to enlisted soldiers, is because the clones are not obedient to the Empire, or they're not loyal to the Empire, they're loyal to the Republic. So they see what's going on and they're like, as long as they were like the Empire probably realizes like the clones, now that the Jedi have been gone for a while, the clones are going to start to be like, hey, wait a minute, because the chips can only go so far.
Yeah, what was War-Mantle but a project to see were the clones docile enough to follow just orders blindly? And the answer is no. Most of the time, when pressed, they will go and do the right thing.
I think that part of that too is what Palpatine specifically didn't anticipate is that the clones were given a pretty big freedom of individual expression during the course of their existence in the war, which is a hard thing to just turn off and erase. Like there's still people, they're just people who follow orders. And I think that's a very interesting difference to explore. Once again, Star Wars explore clone identity, please, I'm fucking begging you. But I think with the chips, we have to stop recognizing them as a useful plot device until there's a Jedi or Jedi adjacent character around them, because otherwise, or at least I'll say this, if they played a role in the clones' interactions with other non-Jedi characters, we would know by now. This is like the third set of interactions we've had with a non-main character clone, or RIP like Gregor in Rebels, but like he is not really a star of the Bad Batch, and neither is Hauser. And in both of those cases, the chips have not been a plot point whatsoever. Like I think if they were a bigger deal, they would have had fucking that fruity little general from the Empire, Rampart. They would have had Rampart be like, oh hey, Hauser's chip is not doing what it's supposed to do, if that were a thing they wanted us to focus on in this story.
And I think that what they have said in the narrative is that Crosshair got supercharged, and that is why he is following orders blindly.
Yeah, I think that that's exactly why. I almost think that one of the reasons that they want to showcase clones who are chipped, who are still not doing bad stuff, is Crosshair, I know, is supercharged. So that is something to consider. But the other thing is there are clones who are not supercharged, who are chipped, who are still saying, hey, this is bad and wrong, when it doesn't involve Jedi. So it's almost as though they're setting up saying, hey, not that Crosshair is fully himself right now, but like there is still some sort of agency. It's almost like there's something there. I just don't know what it is. Like I would like for them to get just a little into it. And hopefully in this next episode, we will get to see a bit of Crosshair from Crosshair's point of view, with Hunter being like, hey, bestie, why did you think that this was okay? And then Crosshair being like, oh, actually, no, I'm having a cognitive dissonance. I would just like to see a little bit of Crosshair being like, here's what is going on in my mind. And is it just like mush? Like, what's the vibe?
To add to that, and then I will let the clone ship conversation pull a Gregor and Rebels and die. I'm so sorry. There was a lot in that one joke. I just had it in my head for a while. But basically I'm remembering when Wrecker like went full tilt murder drone moment and his evil Baymax era. And the thing that I remember from that is literally as soon as the chip was no longer like super duper active, he was like, I did a bad thing just now, huh? Like that was upsetting for everybody. And I just think that maybe that's part of why I'm like, Crosshair bestie, I know you're super chip, but the fact that you've made no attempt whatsoever to do anything different is a little alarming to me. Because here's the thing, I don't fully believe that Crosshair would be against the Empire if he wasn't super chipped. Like remembering him from the Bad Batch arc, I was like, damn, he's kind of an asshole.
No, you're absolutely right, because he already was like, I'm not gonna say a stickler for rules, because it was whatever convenienced him was what was okay and good. And so unless he is directly challenged with that, and not supercharged, because we have not had that situation, he has not been presented that choice yet. Well, he kind of has and he kind of hasn't, right? Because to some regard, the scene with Omega in like the first or second episode where Omega's like, you don't want to do this, he could have done something, right? But also we did see how his chip did get activated earlier. So how is that influencing and coloring that choice? And that's what makes the whole like narrative around what the fuck is up with the chip a little bit more gray for me personally, because I'm like, okay, now listen, is Crosshair like an exception to this rule? Yes, because in every regard he's literally built different, but like I would love just some consistency as to what the fuck does that mean.
I think also I think if he were to be like turned back or whatever, his chip removed, deactivated, whatever it is, because of the super chipping and how that like literally fucking fries your brain, I think it would kill him. Like we were talking about Cody, like I'm not being a bitch. I'm like, but like I think like we were talking about Cody and how like, oh, what if something goes wrong and they remove the chip on somebody and it goes wrong, whatever. And they have said a couple times with the procedure with Rex and then the procedure with Wrecker, they were like, this could go wrong, whatever. You know, that thing has been soldered into his fucking brain at this point. Like, what if, you know, we never get to see him have the Wrecker moment of like, oh, I did something very bad, because he straight up eats it, because it has fully melted his brain, which would be kind of sad, because I'd love to know what his individual choices would have been. I also think, like, if we we're going to speculate, I'm actually in the other camp where I think that, in a certain way, I think he could definitely be dogmatic. Shout out to Dogma. I think he could be dogmatic enough to almost be like Rex, even, where he could be like, I am following orders, and the original order was to protect the Republic, not the Empire. And, you know, and because, you know, him following Order 66 or being like, hey, Hunter, shouldn't we, whatever, again, as Mel was saying, like, that was his chip already a little tiny bit activated. I really do think that if it wasn't, like, he would very much be like, that's not in our original directive. That's not correct, love. And he would be more like almost strict about it.
I have a couple thoughts about this. One thought I want to say about Crosshair is like, yes, Crosshair was a dick. And yes, Crosshair was my least favorite member of the Bad Batch in the Clone Wars arc. But I also think like Crosshair was also always questioning orders and was always like, I'm going to do things my own way, which makes me question if he would be interested in following an empire when they bring stuff down and are like, we are much more rigid, we are doing things a certain way. Were he not under the effects of the chip, I 100% believe he would have left with the Bad Batch, and the whole time he would have been like, Hunter, your leadership skills suck, but not because he's like, I want to go back to the empire, but because he's just an antagonist.
But not like, Crosshair and Echo teaming up against Hunter to be like, stupid ass.
I do not think Crosshair would team up with Echo. He did not like Echo.
That is true.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
I just think, I don't know. I have so many thoughts about Crosshair. But I also did have a bit of a moment just now, like a narrative moment, where I realized that really what they do a lot is tend to be like, this character is evil, so we're going to put them with the Empire, or for the, like, whatever the evil amalgam is for that sort of show. And I'm not saying like that there's any excuse for the Empire, but we see like in certain other pieces of media, like the books, they delve a lot more into this in multiple instances. Not to bring up Thrawn, that is, I think, one of the biggest ones, but there are a lot of other ones as well, where they talk about the Empire itself sucks. The Empire is doing horrible things and it is a fascist regime, but there are people in that Empire who do not see it that way and truly do believe that they are doing good. And I am not sympathizing with the Empire. There is no reason to. They are a fascist regime. But I think that that's interesting. And it almost feels like with Crosshair, it's like, well, he's bad, so he's going to work with the Empire. And I know that that's way more simple. And this
the
is
example would be what? Korsh Panaka? Is the example. For those of you who have read Leia, Princess of Alderaan, and it actually that is the prime example, is somebody who like became an Imperial political official, something like that, and it, still is sort of a good person, but is not a good person because they work in the Empire.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like characters like Eli Vanto, who are, I don't know if because Eli is so willing to like to turn to be like goodbye. I think that is just a matter of like being brought into the military industrial complex when you are a young person and you are indoctrinated into a society that is like pro this fascist regime. But I think of characters like Rey Sloane, who like in A New Dawn, she thinks she's doing the right thing, and like by all means of like her working in the Empire, she's doing the right thing. And so I do think that there is like, I don't want to say heroes on both sides because I do not agree with that.
There's nuance on both sides.
But there is nuance.
Well, there's nuance with that. There's nuance with the Empire. Not to be the person who says, well, the rebels were bad too.
No, I think
because I am not that person.
I think the difference
else.
Just the difference is that this is storytelling, and it's not like we were assigning them a morally high ground. It's that we find those stories interesting and compelling to see because those give us more depth about what creates oppression. In this essay, I will. It's not that we agree with them or whatever. It's that they are interesting and they deserve time to develop. Like even Arinda Price at one point, then she's also a capitalist bitch, but whatever.
Not to bring legitimate real world politics into this podcast for like the 18,000th time. However, the question of who is legitimately complicit in a fascist system becomes a lot more complicated when we're looking at media, because here's the thing, and honestly the problem I have with Eli Vanto, and I do love Eli, I want to point this out, I do love him very much, but he's a character that we are always asked to like and we are never asked to question. And so putting him in the army of fascists and putting him with Thrawn, another, like, I love Thrawn. Thrawn is unambiguously working for a fascist regime, and no matter what good he does, that's still something he's complicit in the creation and the advancement of 24/7. Like Mans is always like, yeah, I'm gonna make the Empire like better, but better at what? Better at being the Empire? Because that's kind of garbage. And I think the problem is that when we have a character like Crosshair, like Ollie was saying, that's like, oh, he's a bad guy, so he's going to be in the bad camp. It's complicated because the text does not ask us to like Crosshair. It objectively is like, this is a guy who we are already geared to not like, who's doing things we don't like. So it's very easy to say he's in the Empire. But like, frankly, Eli Vanto is kind of a trash person for being in the Empire at all, because it still makes him a fascist, and then he leaves. But like during the course of the Thrawn book, that is what he is. And I feel like we have to be aware of that.
Exactly, because he has that moment where he's with Thrawn and it's like the scene with the slaves, and he's like, hey, like slavery's bad. And Thrawn's like, yeah, but it's what the Empire asks us to do. Like, don't worry about it. And Eli's like, oh, okay, sir. And then continues on.
I think that that's another perfect example of Star Wars, of the Empire being an allegory for Western imperialism, is because it's very much like, hey, we have we're just going to kind of look away and imagine like, hey, this is kind of not happening. And I'm not going to say like, oh, Eli was justified for doing that. But I also do very much understand the perspective of saying like, this bad thing is happening and I'm kind of aware that what we're doing is shitty, but I also feel like I'm doing more good than bad. And I think I would like to have seen more of his personal journey in the Thrawn book about him being like, hey, the Empire kind of sucks.
Not us going on a rant about Eli Mantle.
I was just about to get back to Crosshair, actually, because that is sort of the point, I think, with Crosshair is I think a lot of people would like for him to be a sympathetic character because his arc is almost, I don't want to say his arc is sympathetic, but what is happening to him is sympathetic. So it's like a lot of us as gay people, we all love Cody, and we have all been thinking about what's been going on with Cody. Like Cody was BFFs ? With Obi-Wan. And then he just, at the drop of a hat, turns and shoots him off a wall. Like, or authorizes shooting him off a wall. And it's like, I would have loved to see that with Crosshair of being like, these are my bros, love these guys, even though we disagree. And then having him be like, actually, I'm going to try to kill them. And I would really like to see that cognitive dissonance of being like, hey, what's going on here? And I think that's why people love Cody, is the idea of him being like, he's questioning like, oh, there's so many like fan fictions and so much fan work about Cody post Order 66 being like, yo, what did I just do? Like, what is going on? This is not normal. That's really what I thought Crosshair was going to be like in the Bad Batch. And I would still like to see, even if it's just one episode of him talking about it, I would like to see it.
I do think one complication in my Elo Vance analysis and my understanding of Crosshair as a character as well is that it's very hard to deconstruct the allure of fascism when the characters that we like are not doing that. It's really easy to hate the Empire in Star Wars because pretty much all the characters that we are told by the text to sympathize with and like oppose the Empire. So why wouldn't you? But I think it'd be really interesting to have Crosshair as a character. And this is once again where I get out of my soapbox and say I kind of wish that the chip wasn't the reason he joined them in the first place. Because I think it's like Inferno Squad in Battlefront are characters that are for the Empire, and then over the course of a different time are sort of like, hey, wait a minute.
That is exactly what happens there, because Iden Versio was like, hey, we're literally about to destroy a planet that is still loyal to us. And they're like, well, that's life. And she's like, well, maybe we shouldn't do this.
But so that I think is a much more compelling story, because I think this does play into some good writing though, because Crosshair's narrative is kind of tragic because he is both a tool of the machine that's hurting people and a victim of it at the same time. And so as a result of that, it does kind of disappoint me that we haven't had any real time with him to explore what that means and how that feels. And maybe because it does seem like this show is gearing up for a season 2, because there's no way this is getting resolved in 2 episodes. But I just think that if they would maybe touch on that, or at least show us how he's feeling about this entire thing, that would make him a stronger character.
I think that's going to be the central conceit of the ending, and I think that's why it's going to fucking hurt. I also think that, like, we thought, oh, like, maybe they'll all be chipped, or, like, it'll take a long time or whatever, and, like, they kind of wrapped up, like, Wrecker being chipped kind of early on. I have this feeling now that, like, maybe they might save Crosshair in the ending of this season or whatever. And then we might have what you're talking about of like Crosshair having to like unpack and deal with everything, because he's been chipped and been controlled from the absolute jump, and having to deal with all of that in the next season. And then we're going to have epic Crosshair moments from then on, because having him try to deal with it when he is literally super chipped is just not, it's not going to happen. I do think that would be very interesting, would be, what is it like for him? It's very, to me, it would be very much like seeing Kallus post, his turning to the rebels and like his deconstruction through that. And obviously it would be very different with Crosshair. But that took a couple seasons with Kallus. So anyway, I'm hoping they don't just kill him off. I think that would be interesting, and I don't think they will. I don't think they will, but
I mean, I think that that's a really good point about the idea that maybe it's a multiple season thing. We see Crosshair ask Rampart if he can go after the Bad Batch right after he watches Hauser's speech about, even though we're clones, we're loyal to the Empire, we don't have to do this. He asked to go see the Bad Batch, to go look for them. And I've seen a lot of theories that Crosshair maybe let Gregor escape so that he could get in touch with someone, so Crosshair would have a reason to either get in contact with the Bad Batch or get a read on where they might be. And that could be either because he's hunting them and actually is trying to hunt them. But I also think there could be a situation in which in this next episode, he's like, oh, hey, Hunter, I'm evil now. And Hunter's like, why? And he's like, I don't really know. I don't feel right. Something about this is wrong. And I needed someone to tell me why it's wrong because I'm not feeling as I should. And I think that that could be really interesting, is having Hunter be like, okay, and also having Hunter, who has been the most of the Bad Batch, be the one who has stayed on the outside of the rebellion as much as possible. Have him be the one to have to explain to Crosshair why what he's doing is wrong, from both a self-interest standpoint, but from a moral standpoint and from a universal standpoint. I think that that could be really interesting, as him being like, I don't really know what's going on with me right now, but I don't feel like it's right. I trust you, ?
I will say one other thing that we sort of know about the functionality of the chips when they're this active is that sometimes strong personal bonds can sort of subvert their programming. RIP Obi-Wan and Cody, because I would think that would do it, but whatever. But with Rex and Ahsoka, I mean, we do see him visibly struggle before starting to shoot her to death. So I'm sort of wondering if interacting with Hunter will trigger Crosshair's brain juice to be like, something's wrong here, and I'm about to kill my brother / one of my just very good friends, and possibly be like, maybe murder is bad, actually. I would also, though, be really down for Crosshair's petty revenge quest, where he asked to go after them because he was like, yo, fuck these people. They literally did nothing to try and help me for 6 months.
I mean, related but separate tangent, I would like to take 1 second to talk about the Kaminoans. RIP, but also not RIP, fuck Lama Su. Obviously,
okay, I'm sorry, with Lama Su, it's literally like Rampart ordering to kill Lama Su is the worst person just made a great point. literally, it sucks. But so a thing that in Star Wars they never really address head on, and that we've talked about before, is that a part of what Palpatine used to demonize the Separatists and make the Empire seem attractive was non-human xenophobia. And the irony of it is that the Kaminoans, who were creating the army for the Republic, end up kind of falling into that. And it's almost symbolic. To me, it was almost symbolic in a way, because it was the last vestige, not only is the clones going into the stormtroopers, but the last vestige is literally they don't need any non-human contacts anymore. He literally had Vader kill all of the Separatists, and now they're killing the Kaminoans. And also the irony of they see the clones, who are fucking real people, as tools to be disposed of as a product, and then they're disposed of themselves. It was really interesting to me. It was a lot, and I think it has many layers.
I do I think it's interesting though how he did keep Nalase around, because he's a scientist, I find useful, but I have no need for a politician. Goodbye, Lama Su. You're now being executed. And also, we don't really know if Lama Su has been off, but it did seem to imply that they were offing him goodbye. We'll see Alpaca Su soon.
So this is my favorite theory, and every time I'm proven right, I love being right. So just as a quick refresher, it begins with the Children of the Force arc in the Clone Wars, And then in the Bad Batch, we have Omega, and now we have Nalase being taken into the hands of the Empire to be of some sort of use. And then in Rebels, we have the future of the Force, where they're trying to steal children again. And then we have them trying to use the Grogu blood to clearly create Force-sensitive clones. And people notice the Kaminoan symbol on the Imperial Remnants uniforms. And then they have very similar to the Snoke tanks. And then we have Palpatine clone, and then we have Rey Skywalker. This is the pipeline. Again, it was just another piece. It was just another piece in the pipeline, and I truly admire when people are like, oh, you know, Dave Filoni's gonna decanonize the sequels. Dave Filoni is gonna do what he always does, which is go to acrobatic fucking lengths to make sense of whatever bullshit they did in the movies, and it's working apparently, and it was seeded from the beginning apparently, and he's like, so I definitely feel like I've connected the dots.
I really liked this episode. I think it finally got to a lot of the hard-hitting stuff, because one of the things I was waiting for the whole season was Wolf and Gregor, because I needed to know how Gregor survived. They still did not explain how he survived being exploded, but he was there, which I liked.
Simply built different.
The other thing, I think, like, I'm really excited to see what happens next week. Like, I'm genuinely really looking forward to it. I'm very worried that we are going to see the re-chipification of Hunter Bad Batch. I don't know how likely that is, but I did have the fleeting fear where, you know how Omega is like, just because it worked on Rex doesn't mean it's going to work on Wrecker. I was having one of those moments where I was like, maybe they're trying to trick us into thinking she's talking about Crosshair, and maybe it is going to be when they try to de-chip, re-chipped Hunter, and that is how he passes away. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I just want to put it out there in the off chance that it happens.
He does have an overly sensitive, like, brain and stuff. Like, that is possible. Like, that's his whole thing.
That is true.
So not to hop on the Hunter is a he/him lesbian. However, that's just sort of like Ellie from The Last of Us. Like, what is Hunter if not Ellie from The Last of Us?
Oh.
Anyway, for my actual final thoughts, one quick little aside I just had to say is that the discourse around the Bad Batch for the last like 2 episodes has been like, oh, it's the cameo show. There are no real characters here. They just want to show in other characters. And here's the thing. No, and more importantly, shut up. The thing about having a cameo like this is that I think a cameo is like what happens in a Marvel end credit scene. These are just plot points. It's important for us as viewers to know what happens to Gregor and to Wolf and how they actually get rescued. It's important to show us the characterization of the Bad Batch in taking actions like this. Like, the entire plot line of the Syndulla family informs the way that we read the clones as characters, and we read this era of the galaxy as a whole. They're not putting it there just for funsies. A stupid cameo would be like, look, it's baby Din Djarin, and he's in this facility for some reason.
Actually, like, get the fuck out. I would kill for that.
See, but that would be a cameo. That wouldn't be a useful plot point. And because I know people are probably also going to be like, oh, they put Gregor in because he's a character we know. And first of all, this is once again confirming that Rebels is required reading for the Bad Batch. But perhaps more importantly, this really developed a lot of our characters, and it was important to have Gregor in particular as a vessel to do that. You couldn't have shoved any clone here and had that happen. It was important that it was related to Rex, and it was important that it was Gregor and or Wolf. Either of them would have worked, but that's what happened. And like Ollie, I am, for like the first time in a few episodes now, like genuinely excited to see what happens next week and sort of worried about it. So I hope my favorite he/him lesbian Hunter makes it out. I hope he's okay. I hope he gets freed. Crosshair, I guess I hope things go well for you, but if they don't, you can choke. It's okay. Those are my thoughts.
On the topic of he/him lesbian Hunter, because I am legally obligated to weigh in, there is a video of Ming-Na Wen saying that she would date Hunter from the Bad Batch and that she thinks he's a stud. Anyway, What more must I say? Fenter stands,
We
if you're
won.
out there, please contact me.
Pack it up. We won.
I liked this episode. It was very pretty, visually stunning. Like a lot of other people said, I am excited now for what is going to be happening. This conclusion is kind of where I thought the season was going to end, but also not. You know, it is what it is. I'm excited to see what is going to happen next week.
Thank you for goddamn saying that about the cameo thing, because Star Wars fans and fans of anything, you literally can never be pleased. It's literally like, oh my god, it's such a cameo fest. But then if it's like new characters, like in the first season of The Mandalorian, then people are like literally, why does it have to be new people? Like, why do I care? Like, and I'm like, bestie, you're exhausting. Like, can we not just have a good old fun time? And the purpose of this show, they literally said, was to world build the period of the beginning of the Empire. They said that through the eyes of the clones and a specific group of clones that we have not spent a lot of time with. I have been having a good time the entire time. I also have been watching a lot of Rebels lately, and because I know that Dave and now Jennifer write the same goddamn motherfucking show, I have a lot of fear, because I know what happens at the end of season 1 of Rebels. I'm very afraid. But I had a really good time, and also really a big shout out to the animation. Like, every new episode I'm like, how much money do you people have? Jesus Christ.
To talk about cameo things again, I do think it is stupid that they only really started getting pissed about cameos after Hera showed up. So it's just like, tell me that you hate women. Just tell me that you hate women Star Wars fans, because you weren't saying shit until Hera showed up. So fuck off. But I did enjoy this episode too. I did watch it 2.5 times. I didn't finish the third time because it was like, oh, time to record. Shout out to the animators, because like Klaudia said, like, damn, every episode of the show has been stunning. I love the small little details they throw in with things like lighting.
Rex
also
has stubble.
Yeah, Rex's stubble. Good job on small details like that. Also, really loved the Republic Commando shout out, like, things. Thank you for feeding Republic Commando fans. And I love seeing Scorch, although now I'm unsure if that really was Scorch, because I saw something on Twitter where they're just like, oh yeah, a clone that looks like Scorch is how they described it on the Star Wars website or something, with like all the fun pictures they post.
Yeah, they had
So
said
it's just
it was
like
a reference to Scorch.
it's just like, that's
where
his
is he?
armor though. Where is he? And I know Scorch did, like, join the Empire, was down to be part of the Empire from friend of mine who is big Scorch stan.
To be fair, I mean, also all of that is Legends, which was really, it didn't have a lot of the what's the
that's
the
true.
clones
But
the way we understand it now. But it would have been really nice to see a member of Delta Squad.
Yeah, Republic Commando spoilers, but I do think Scorch would have like reasonable like it's reasonable for him to join the Empire. He was pissed about Yoda not letting him go save his bestie Sev. R.I.P. Sev, I miss you.
Fly high, Angel.
Yeah, fly high, Angel, fly high, King. But I also, shout out to Dave and Jennifer for being like, yeah, we have like one or two stories, because Hunter had that epic Kanan at the end of season 1 of Rebels moment. Rebels spoilers, but Kanan was fine. He came out of that fine. So Hunter, I have hopes for you.
For now.
Your days are numbered. You've got 3 seasons.
No, but I worry about Crosshair, because he's still super chipped, and we know what happened to Quizzy at the end of season 1 of Rebels.
Not Quizzy not Crosshair being a Quizzy allegory.
R.I.P. Crosshair, R.I.P.
Does that
Quizzy.
mean that Force Ghost Crosshair has to come in season 3.
Yeah, Force Ghost Crosshair tells like Hunter,
Force
like,
Ghost
don't
Crosshair.
worry, Hunter.
Force Ghost Crosshair promotes Hunter.
Really loved this episode. It's very, very good. It's the only episode that I've seen more than twice. So my one complaint, and this brings us to Cody Watch, is sorry, I got distracted by Noah putting on his wrecker helmet, and that reminds me. For Cody Watch, no one will see this because this is an audio
This is
medium.
an audio medium, so you
But
are going to be very
The audio sounds so bad in the Cody helmet, but it's so funny.
We
It will be
we
really
put
bad.
this
How
online.
do I sound in this? Do I sound bad?
Really
Not
I don't
good.
care.
Like Bane. Wait, can I enter my Bane
Yeah.
era with this on?
Hi, it's me, Commander Cody. I was not here in this week's Bad Batch. This has been Cody Watch. Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, Jess has just put on a printed Cody helmet, which was made by @OdinActual on TikTok, which is why their audio is sounding like that right now.
Hey, welcome to Fantastic, which is a segment wherein I name an actor or a series of actors, and my co-hosts have to guess who they have been fan casted by a real person on the internet. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, so we have some bangers today. I'm kind of excited. David Tennant. Who do we think he has been fan casted as?
Ron.
No.
Okay, so they have not been mentioned yet today.
Can you give us an era?
Yes. Prequel era.
Wait, like
Anakin.
like a recast?
Yes. Like this is just like someone
Oh.
like they got fan casted not
Is
during
it-
that era, like when the movies were coming
Plo
out.
Koon?
But... No.
Are they a member of the Jedi Council?
No.
Dooku.
Anakin?
No, but you're closer.
Maul?
Wait,
No.
which one of us was Jess or me?
Jess.
Dooku.
Sidious?
So they're a Sith or a
No.
separatist?
The Separatist.
Okay, Lux Bonteri.
No.
What's up? What's his name? One of the
Newt
Lot
Gunray?
Dodd?
No.
yeah, Newt Gunray.
No.
Newt Gunray, played by David Tennant's very funny though. Oh,
Like, who the
Wat
fuckers-
Tambor?
No.
General Grievous?
Yes.
Oh, that's why you had 4 heads. Fuck off.
That's actually not terrible casting. He would fucking kill that.
I think
I-
he'd body it. I just think it's very funny.
The idea.
Here's the
like,
thing
and-
though, I'm not picturing like David Tennant voicing General Grievous. I'm picturing him in like a General Grievous Halloween mask, being like in his eye, General Grievous.
Are you ready for the next one?
That's. Sorry.
Wait,
Yeah,
him
I'm-
fighting Ewan McGregor would really be like Scotsman on Scotsman crime.
What? That's just Highlander.
Are you ready for the next one?
Unfortunately,
I'm so
I'm
ready.
All right. From NBC's Hannibal, Hugh Darcy. Dancy, not Darcy.
No.
Hugh Dancy.
Hugh Darcy?
I was like, Hugh Darcy, no. Hugh Dancy from NBC's Hannibal.
Is it a Jedi?
Yes.
Luke Skywalker?
Obi-Wan.
No.
What era
Okay.
is it still like?
Prequel era.
Are
Okay.
they a
Anakin.
character-
No.
Kip Fisto.
Are
No.
they, can I ask a goddamn question? Are they a character who is already cast in live action?
Yes.
Are they? So I assume this. Okay, so this is a recast. Were they a member of the Jedi Council?
No. But they. Never mind. I can't say what the.
Quinlan Voss?
No.
Are
I
they
want
human
Hugh
or
Dancy's
non-human?
Quinlan.
Not the whitewashing of Quinlan Voss.
No. It is not.
Oh wait, are
Quinlan.
they human or non-human?
Human?
Jarl Poof. Oh, he's not you.
He is not human, bestie.
He's human to
We'll
me.
talk about that fucking Q-tip. Okay.
I can't. Okay. So they're not. Are they in the movies?
Yes.
Anakin?
No.
Who's a human Jedi who's in? The way I almost just said Depa Billaba, and then I realized she's on the council. Like that's the only problem with Hugh Dancy playing her.
Hugh Dancy as
Okay,
Depa Billaba
this
is
what I will
sending
say.
me.
This is what I will say because I don't know if everyone has gotten has consumed this piece of media, so maybe you don't know. This character, this Jedi was almost on the Jedi Council, but refused the position.
Qui-Gon?
Yes.
Not
Huge
Qui-Gon?
anti- Qui-Gon
Okay, wait, but like that's kind of Dilfy. I can
don't
actually
hate it.
kind
I
of
don't hate
get
it.
behind that.
That's actually a pretty good casting
Okay,
for
yeah, but
young Qui-Gon.
I like the idea of old, like regular, like Phantom Menace age Qui-Gon being
Like
played by
60-year-old
Hugh
Qui-Gon.
Dancy. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Okay,
for the-
wait, then who does Mads Mikkelsen play? Dooku. This is a great idea.
No, he's
Stop.
Oh my god.
All right. Are you ready for the next one?
Oh, okay. Actually, though, Mads Mikkelsen and
Shmi
Hugh Dancy
Skywalker.
as no. I was gonna say
Okay.
them as Dooku and Saipo Diaz just because I think it would be
Wait.
funny.
That does
I
work.
will say though, I actually think I would deeply enjoy Mads Mikkelsen as Count Dooku. I do
Okay,
think
yeah,
that would
that
actually
would
be really
actually-
powerful.
I think it'd be very fun. I think it's very fun, especially because Mads Mikkelsen, someone who has already been in a Star Wars, did not see the Star Wars movie he was in.
That's so powerful. No, he's so valid for
Very
that though.
powerful.
He said, "Actually, I'm good."
And I thought you were saying you'd never seen Rogue One, and I was like, I know that is not true.
Yeah, I was like, "Hello, that's like my favorite Star Wars movie."
That's why I
Anyways,
was so confused.
are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay. Mandy Patinkin, Woody Harrelson, and Jeff Goldblum.
Woody Harrelson has already been in a Star Wars movie.
Okay,
Yep.
is this a character who is this a character who has been in live
Yes.
action?
Yes.
Wait, are these
Okay.
three casts for the same character?
Yes.
Or are these okay. Is this character what era is this character in?
prequels?
Is it a Jedi?
Yes. Well,
Anakin Skywalker.
no.
Wait.
Have they been in the Clone Wars like cartoon too?
Yes.
Maul?
No.
Ventress?
Savage.
No.
It's not Ventress.
It's neither
a
of the ones you named.
Force user?
Yes.
They're a Jedi.
Yeah, it's a Jedi.
Is it Barris? They
No.
were a Jedi, but aren't anymore. now.
Jeff Hal.
Woody
Okay,
Harrelson
no,
is Barris.
no. Pause. Woody Harrelson, Mandy fucking Patinkin, and fucking Jeff Goldblum as Barris Offee. Is that what
Okay.
you're telling me?
I
Wait,
said it to be
is-
funny, but now I'm
Palpatine!
doubling down. That would be
Palpatine!
very
No.
funny.
Palpatine is not a Jedi.
No, it's a Jedi.
Is
Well,
this
but
someone
Mel,
who
but
wants
Mel
a
said it's
Jedi
a
and then left
Jedi
the
well.
Yeah,
Did
Jedi
this person
asterisk.
leave the order?
Maybe.
Is it
perhaps?
Ahsoka?
No.
Quinlan Voss?
Is it Quinlan?
No.
Is it Dooku?
Yes.
Not Woody Harrelson is
Jeff
Dooku.
Mandy
Goldblum
Patinkin!
as Jeff Goldblum as
Dooku
Dooku.
I'm
being
so
like,
sorry.
oh my god, Obi-Wan.
Literally, I was like,
If you had just joined me, this wouldn't be happening right now.
I
Are you
do
ready?
like the idea of Jeff Goldblum taking his like Grandmaster persona from Thor Ragnarok and doing that as his Count Dooku impression.
I'm sorry, but is that scene from Thor Ragnarok where Thor is in the chair and he's walking next to him? Is that not the exact same scene as Attack of the Clones where Dooku is talking to Obi-Wan?
I
Yeah,
love that.
Yeah, it is.
I'll do this as the last one, as a little treat. The Rock.
Not the
Ron.
Rock.
You
I-
all said something at the same time, and I have no idea what the fuck
Is
you
this
just said.
still in like prequels era or what era is this?
No, this is in the time
Ooh.
between the prequels and the originals.
Quizzy.
I would like to say
No.
Thrawn.
No.
Din Djarin.
No.
The idea of Thrawn
No.
as The Rock is very funny.
No,
Sorry,
Din Djarin
Lars
was not
Mikkelsen.
in between the prequels and the originals. Din Djarin is
Oh,
after the
sorry.
originals.
I'm thinking of the wrong era. Sorry,
Okay,
besties.
so this is this like closer to the Rebels time period?
Yes.
Is this a character?
Kanan
from Rebels?
Jarrus.
Is it?
Yes, it is a character from Rebels.
Is it?
No, it is not
Zeb?
Kanan.
Ben
yes,
Rao?
It is Garrett
I was about to
Abrelius.
ask Zeb.
Not Lasat the Rock.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
So
for
who's
doing this to
Callus
me.
in this scenario?
I don't know.
Vin Diesel, obviously.
Shut up! No.
I hate you. Anyways.
And
I
being
would like to
my
posit,
family
though-
my family died on Lasan and Callus turning into Dom Toretto being like your family.
The idea that The Rock playing a Lasat character is very funny. I would like to posit, however, that they then only use The Rock for every other Lasat character because this is how The Rock as Jaro Tapal can still win.
No, because now I'm just thinking about the terrible CGI. The Rock as Scorpion King. So I can't. with
Get him
that.
out of here.
Sorry, I just watched The Rock in that Jungle Cruise clip where they had the Disney's first gay character come out to him, so this is a laugh for me to handle right now.
Disney's 14th first gay character has come out this week.
Okay, so now we are going to do a couple Q&As that people have sent to us on TikTok. Let me go ahead and pull them up. So I have two for you guys today. The first one is from TikTok user Sage Sindula. They ask, what nicknames would Sid give to each of the pod hosts? We know that Sid has nicknames for all of the members of the Bad Batch, apparently, except for Echo.
I can go first because I have thought about this. I do think that Sid would call me Kami.
What the fuck?
I was
like,
Sid in their in their
communist.
CIA era?
Yeah, I mean, no, it could be like comrade. It could be like bestie, like
Comrade.
solidarity. But I was thinking,
Comrade Mel!
I was just thinking about like defining features about me, and I was like, okay, I have glasses, so sorry, tech, like you've already taken that. No repeatsies. And I was like, okay, there are only a few other defining features about me, and I'm like, I don't want Sid to call me a slur. So how about instead, there's something very also apparent about me, and it's my political opinions.
I do like the idea of Sid not even, because most of her nicknames are based on like just a first glance. So I like the idea of her immediately clocking you and not even like talking to you first. That's powerful.
It was either that or like huge tits. So
Not huge tits. Oh no.
Sid just
Hey,
looks at
bosom,
Mel
get
and is
over
like,
here.
hi, Jugs.
hey, double D's.
So in terms of names, I don't entirely know what Sid would nickname me because now I'm going through the Mel criteria. I also don't want to have her call me a slur. I think fruit is a good idea for any of us, but specifically for me, I do also though, because Sid is voiced, she is voiced by a Jewish woman, right? So I do like the idea of her just calling me a problem in Hebrew. I don't entirely know how to say this word. I think it's baya. I'm pretty sure it's just baya, which is just issue. I don't know why, but I think that would work for me.
Noah entering his issue era. So I'm having a very similar problem to everyone of being like, what are my defining features? And I feel like my first thought was that Sid would be like, hey, nose ring, get over here, because
that actually does make sense. That's very on brand for her.
I mean, I do have two. So it would make sense for her to say that.
Seeing as 4 of our hosts have glasses and I am the only one that does not, I do like the idea that Sid fully sees a pair of glasses and is like, oh, that's just tech. Like she refers to all 4 of you as goggles because she's like, tech wears
That's
glasses.
hateful. That's
They're
hateful
the
to
same
me.
person.
I
do
hate
think
She has
that.
face blindness?
I do think it would be funny if she has, for people with glasses, she just has different words for glasses for everyone who has glasses because they're so rare in the Star Wars universe.
Specs.
That would be very funny,
Yeah,
actually.
she's
Yeah,
got
specs, goggles.
frames.
What about you, Claudia?
Me? Oh, she definitely called me like data pad because I'd always be on my phone.
She said, okay, iPhone baby.
Yeah, iPhone
Not
baby.
iPad baby, Claudia.
Yeah, like Omega is already that, but like I think like whatever, like, you know, whatever, she like the equivalent of like texting or whatever, like I think she just called me like data pad or something like that. It would always be like, these kids are always on their fucking phones. I think it would be that.
Sid does have the energy of someone who said, you kids are always on your phones.
Not boomer Sid.
The intersection between queer elder and boomer is Sid.
I'm also having that problem of what are my defining features. And the only thing I could think of as a nickname is mess because my life is a mess. So haha. Also rhymes with Jess. So teehee.
I do like the idea of her just calling you Jess. And just being like, you are too cool to have a nickname.
That's
feels
nice.
Have we considered that maybe Sid does just call Echo because she's like,
I was
you're
just
the one...
about to say that actually. I was like, wait a minute, maybe just for Echo. She's like, no, I just like you.
She's like, you're the only bitch in this house I respect. And she just doesn't give him a nickname because she's like, he looks like he's going through a lot.
There has to be at least one person where she just either hasn't learned their name or doesn't want to bother, where she's always just like, hey, you.
That's Echo,
Like,
I think. That's the Echo and the Jess of our...
No, Jess.
Oh, I think
Echo is stored in the Jess.
I was gonna say, oh well, Noah is our Echo in the promo video that we first did years ago, but maybe it needs to shift, and Noah is Wrecker and Jess is Echo.
I mean, I
Noah
do have
literally
the Wrecker
has-
helmet, actually.
Yeah.
So,
Evolution.
Hey, you know what's really funny? You can cut this because it is a visual, but I do have a bandana. Not a bandana, but I do have like a sweatband thing I found. So.
And I, like Crosshair, have a huge hole in the side of my head. Anyways.
So the next question that I have for you all is, if you could marry/kriff one Star Wars character and only one, who would it be? This comes from CT5s with a Z on TikTok.
So I actually have an answer for this, prepared actually. And okay, here's the thing. It is actually a little it's not my normal answer. I actually would probably choose to, if I could only marry one character from all of Star Wars and pretend that I'm living in a fix-it AU and not the regular canon, I would pick Jango Fett. Genuinely,
Damn.
he's a very good person. He is very sexy to me. I mean, he's a good dad, which I can appreciate. And he lives by a moral code that he's a bounty hunter. They're all like that. If you're going to say you're going to marry Fennec Shand, it's the same as marrying Jango Fett. But he's involved in his community. He's a good father. He has great hobbies. He has a car. And I think he'd be very nice. I think I would enjoy hanging out with him.
I do like you. I do like the concept of you as Boba Fett's stepdad.
That's very powerful.
That's driving me insane.
The idea of you driving Boba Fett to soccer practice.
Jess just made a face.
No, because listen, here's the thing. I don't want children for a lot of reasons. However, I would be totally okay being grandfathered into being Boba Fett's stepdad. First of all, on the off chance that Jango does die, and if we're going by regular canon, Boba is not abandoned for the rest of his life, which is a nice touch. I don't know. I just feel like I would like being married to Jango Fett. Is it possible that I just really like Temuera Morrison? Yes. But I also do really like the character of Jango Fett, and I think he'd be nice, and I would enjoy his company very much. I feel like I could hang out with him.
People who know me, they know my answer would normally be Maul or Din Djarin. However, that is not my answer. Here is my answer.
Idea of you being perma-married to Darth fucking Maul is so insanely funny to me.
I think
Not my
that's
answer.
powerful, though.
That's not my answer.
The alternative is that Klaudia is Sweet Girl, which is also very funny.
No.
Not
That's
sweet
not
girl Klaudia.
Not my answer, please.
I
don't
hate to hear.
That's not my answer. My answer is Padme. For this reason. Number one, she is pretty. Number two, I am simply built different, and then she would avoid Anakin. So she would live. Number three, she has unlike most Star Wars characters, she
doesn't
live in a dump. She
No,
has
I get
an
it.
apartment.
She has stuff. It's like how Jango Fett has a car. She has a house. And she has money.
I can't.
To be clear,
I can't
Jango
believe-
Fett technically has a motorhome. For being
I
technical, he
can't
lives
believe
there.
Claudia's decanonizing the OG trilogy because Padme
Yeah.
wouldn't have Luke and Leia.
Again, I'm going by the Jess logic of gold digging. But also she deserves better. And also it could also be Anakin goes to the dark side, but this time she lives. So I would have the children. I am also like Noah. I do not want children. That being said, I can be grandfathered into this situation. I could have had many other answers to this question that did involve a polycule. I would, Kanan and Hera, absolutely. But yeah, the first thing that came to my mind, it was Hera. Oh my god. Wow.
That was
it
a fucking Freudian slip if ever I've seen one. Your brain was like, I'm gonna betray her right now.
It was Padme. Yeah, so.
But was it? Because it sounds like it might have been Hera.
No, but in the same vein, I did for a second think Bail Organa, but then I was like, then I would have to enter the polycule again, so.
I do hate that my legacy on this podcast is being a homewrecker / gold digger. Yeah, see, I had that dilemma of thinking about like who do I love the most in Star Wars. I think a bunch of you might assume that my answer would be Cody for the first choice, but it is not Cody. Cody was actually the furthest thing from my mind when I was thinking about this. Sorry if you could hear the crinkle of my water bottle. My like two options that I was debating with was one is Eli Vanto. The other was Boba Fett. And I do love both these characters so much.
Are you gonna become my stepchild?
No.
Stepchild-in-law.
Or stepchild-in-law. Fuck, I forget how this title works.
So the thing was like I love Eli Vanto a lot. I do think that Eli Vanto and I could be friends because Eli Vanto is just some guy. Shout out to Star Wars English class for teaching me about that trope. But I had interpreted the question with the like Mary / Kriff as like both those things, and I was like, I don't want to Kriff Eli Vanto though. I'm not actually like sexually attracted to Eli Vanto. I just kind of want to be Eli Vanto and be besties with Eli Vanto. So I'm just like, I don't know if I would be down with like Boba's like life as a crime lord, even though I have like said in the past like, hey, I'd like to hang out with Boba in Tatooine. That was like my dilemma between these two men. And I think after like saying it aloud to you all, I am gonna go with Eli Vanto. Sorry, Thrawn. Your man is my man now. And I'm gonna go hang out and be besties forever with Eli in the Chiss Ascendy. Chiss Ascendy.
I love the Chiss Ascendy. Super fun.
I'm feeling insane tonight in this Chili's, but yeah.
That's what
I do love the idea of
yeah, I just love the Ascendy.
Our Alani is fully like, I thought that Thrawn like sent his like kind of boyfriend, and Jess is like, you thought wrong. I am here.
Yeah, I have stolen Eli from Thrawn. Like Thrawn thinks he sent Eli to the Chiss Ascendancy, but I intercepted and took Eli.
Jess canonically outmaneuvers Thrawn.
Knee-jerk reaction, Hera Syndulla. Like I have no fear of saying sorry, Kanan. Actually, I imagine a scenario wherein this is post Rebels. So I here's the thing, would willingly become Jacen Syndulla's step parent. As someone who does want children, I'm like, okay, this is fine. That is who I would marry.
So on the talk of being a parent and having many children, this is a character who I have been deeply in love with since before I knew that you were allowed to have a crush on women. And that is one Shakti. And here's the
You're
thing.
so valid for that, actually.
I think with Shakti, all of the clones are like her children.
Not so you adopting the entire Republic army.
So that's the thing. I think Shakti is so beautiful. She's very fun. She just seems very compassionate. And maybe if I was there, I could have been like, girl, let's be a little bit less trusting of the Kaminoans and figure out what's going on with Fives before everything goes to shit.
Oh, he saves Fives with Shakti. Yeah. Oh my god.
So I'm just saying that technically,
Shakti, save Fives.
If you marry Shakti and are the surrogate parent to all of the clones, and I marry Jango, who is the biological father of all the clones,
this is going to be a really interesting reunion.
We have to hang out at Parents Weekend.
Trap?
I do like the two of us being like the odd ones out at this family reunion.
I would also like to say that somehow this episode just turned into the hosts of RuPaul's Pod Race get locked into parenting. Like, that's basically what has happened.
Yeah.
I love that for us.
Accidental child acquisition. Speaking of that,
That is what Star Wars is about, to be fair.
yes. Also, I would like to get into Name That Ship. Basically, one of our hosts brings a fan fiction with either just like an interesting set of tags that tell a story or an interesting ship. This week I'm kind of going off the beaten path, but it is something I really think we need to talk about. So are you ready? So I'm not going to say all the tags because 2 of them really do give it away. But the first tag is Post Order 66, Star Wars. Quirky Kryze is a Kenobi. Hopeful ending. Found family. Ambiguity. Space road trips.
Is that it?
Yep. Also followed by Julia Christine 77 did send me this fic, and it's very important to me that you all know that.
So it's not a ship.
Oh, there is a ship in there.
Oh. Does the ship involve Corky or no? He's just
No,
a
it does
side
not.
character.
Is it
Corky is
a
just
hetero
there.
ship?
No, it is not.
Is one of the characters Obi-Wan?
Yes, it is.
This is a Cody Wan fic.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god, wait!
So here's...
This is so cute. I need to know more about this.
That is exactly why I had to bring it to this fucking podcast, because it was written for Cody Wan week, which is like this week. Or was last week.
It just ended.
It just ended. But I really was like, I have to bring this because the concept is so powerful. This is what happens. It is a fic called Rebellions and Jedi, but by Soft but Gremlin. And the summary is Purge Trooper Cody was one of the best when it came down to tracking Jedi, and this time he had an irresistible trap laid out for one Jedi in particular. What he got was something he wasn't expecting at all. And so basically, it is about Purge Trooper Cody, who runs into Corky. Corky dechips him, and then they become rebels together, and then accidentally, like, not adopt a child, but like they like help a child, and then they run into Obi-Wan, and so Corky finds out that his dad is A, Obi-Wan, and B is definitely fucking Cody, and he's like, word?
The perfect use of that audio that's like, my dad was gay.
But yeah, I just thought it was such a powerful concept, and I was like, I read it right before we started the recording, and I was like, people need to know about this. The people deserve to know.
No, that's actually so adorable, though. I love everything about that.
Thank you for bringing that to us. Cody Helmet also appreciates it.
This may have been like the first fic that we've had that wasn't like an absolute dive into nightmare territory.
Okay,
that was
to
just
be
nice.
fair, the wolf/feral one is actually kind of
This is
valid.
true. Actually, yeah. That actually was not terrible.
There is a subplot where Sinker does become the Mandalore.
What?
Apparently, it is not extremely important to the story. It does just happen.
I love that for Sinker. Good job.
I just think sometimes we need to bring fics to this that are not like, oh my god, but like, oh.
Yeah.
The way I have been trying to find a good wholesome fic to like catch you all off guard, okay? Just wait for it. I'll find it eventually.
So I have one. This is rated teen and up. The characters, it's the character A, character B. Darth Vader mentioned. The tags are forbidden love, miscommunication, hurt comfort. The fascist and the unproblematic king fall in love. I hate it here. Character A is gay because I say so. Character B is completely out of character in this, but at least he isn't propaganda. Hopefully, this fanfiction does not manifest gay character B. Not because I wouldn't love that, but because we know Star Wars would be homophobic about it. Anyway, irrelevant. But character B / different character who's not in this fic writes crack.
Does this involve Crosshair?
It does not involve Crosshair.
Did I hear the fascist and the unproblematic king fall in love?
Yes, you did.
So what era is this?
Is the fascist Tarkin?
It is Tarkin.
No.
This was sent to
Whoever
me
the
by a listener.
unproblematic king is, I'm so
Bail
sorry.
Organa?
It is not Bail Organa. But
Is it Orson Krennic?
Orson Krennic is super problematic. What are you
I
talking
know,
about?
I know, that was just a fucking joke. I honestly did say that just to see how Jess would react to me mentioning Orson
As
Krennic.
the resident Orson
This is-
Krennic stan of the podcast, he is problematic. Don't.
Is it a clone?
it is not a clone.
Are they force sensitive?
However, You remember how I said character who is not at all related to this / character B? They are a clone. The person who
Obi-Wan?
said is not Obi-Wan. I will say this is post. I believe this is probably around the Rebels timeline, maybe a little before.
Kanan Jarrus?
It's not Kanan.
I'm going insane. How
This
many?
person-
Wait, okay. No, I don't even know where to go from here.
So it's not a. Is it a Jedi?
No, it is not a Jedi.
It's not a Force
I
user.
will give you a hint. They're not a Force user. They are much more into, like, this character does appear in a movie. This character is in live action.
Cassian
Is it
Andor?
Saw?
It is Saw Gerrera / Tarkin.
No! Are you kidding me? Wait.
That's a
This
hate
is
crime.
Tarkin / Saw Gerrera, and
Yeah.
that tag that was like, I hope this doesn't manifest
Gay
gay
Saw
Saw Gerrera.
Because Star Wars would be homophobic about it.
I can't fucking do this.
Also,
This is
Girl, get
homophobic.
out of
here's-
here.
This actually does
Free,
bring me
free
to
my
the-
girl Saw Gerrera.
This does bring me to the who sent it to me. Because the tag that said anyway irrelevant, but Saw / clone is Saw / Rex, and this was sent to me.
Yes.
By, I don't understand _art to
Rem.
on TikTok.
Rem,
who is
hey
the
bestie.
Jail.
resident Rexaw stan who has written, like, I believe the vast majority of fics in the Rexaw tag, who is an icon. But
I can't fucking do this.
I did not want to say their name at the beginning because everyone would know it was Saw Gerrera. So anyway, Tarkin / Saw Gerrera was not something that I wanted to see, but you're welcome.
That's a hate crime.
I
That's a
hate
crime.
that.
I have a little baby one and it's just tasteful.
Okay.
Much more tasteful than Tarkin.
I don't know if you saw my reaction, but like I
Yeah, no.
physically like
It did.
Yeah,
make me-
for our listeners, Mel went through like a full body shock during that. That's why they didn't really speak.
the one I would like to the second one though, I would like to say might be one of my favorite things that I've ever found while searching for something. Are you all ready for this?
Yee.
It's called the Rubicon. The tags are friends to enemies, enemies to lovers, lesbian character, Boba Fett and character B friendship, character study, space pirates, betrayal, childhood friends, alternate universe canon divergent, trans character B, unresolved emotional tension, POV alternating.
So Fennec Shand.
Yes.
Okay, gotta be one of them.
Yes, character B is Fennec Shand. So this is trans Fennec Shand.
That is very
Nice.
powerful. Wait, I kind of love that. That's a whole moment.
So the other character is a woman.
Yes.
What era is this?
So this is a little bit of an AU just so like their ages kind of more match up. It's not like that big of an age difference if I will be completely honest. Like in canon itself. So this character is in the times in between the prequels and the original trilogy. That is where they're introduced. They're in a movie.
Is it Jyn Erso?
No, it is not.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, is this a
Is it
character from
Leia?
Rogue One?
Kira.
No, it is not. No, it is not.
Is it?
It's not from Rogue One?
Nope.
Is she a main
So-
character?
Kind of.
Enfys Nest.
Yes. That was like
Like so fucking powerful.
also this
Mhm.
is written by one of my favorite authors on AO3 and it is just it's good. It's just like the AU works so they like are raised together and it's just
That's powerful.
kiss.
Also, I really, really want to see Enfys Nest and her mom and her rebel cell in the Bad Batch. Please, God, motherfuck, Christ.
yeah.
Period.
Love my favorite religious figure, mother of fuck Christ.
Leave me alone.
I just wanted to bring some things that did not feel like we were getting actively hurt for once.
It didn't feel like poison.
Thank you so much for joining us this week for RuPaul's Pod Race. Episodes normally drop on Sundays, so thanks for bearing with us this week because we had some scheduling conflicts. But for updates, Star Wars news, and more curse shit, follow us on all social media at RuPaul's Pod Race. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and occasionally we've actually been going live on TikTok, so be on the lookout for us. If you really love our show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, even if you don't use it as your podcaster. And huge shout out to Ravioli Jesus and the B stands for bastard for leaving reviews for us. And as the Bad Batch comes to a close, we'd love to hear from you what you want to see from us between the ending of the Bad Batch and the beginning of the Book of Boba Fett. We have some ideas for content, but we'd love to hear from you guys what you want to hear us talk about. So send us a question in our TikTok Q&A, tweet at us, DM us on Instagram, etc., or send us an email at RuPaul'sPodRace@gmail.com. May the Force be with you, and don't kriff it up. Waka waka.